Well, the sounds of the seas, the island seas. Okay, all right. We've got two special guests on our virtual studio lines this morning. Greg?
Now we do. We have Veronica McFall, who is a Bahamian educator and now author, living and teaching in the U.S. She has recently published her first book. It's a children's book about the Bahamas. The book is A Visit to the Bahamas from A to Z. Mm-hmm. And joining us this morning is R.J. Jenkins, who is the illustrator. And I want you to believe the book is beautifully illustrated. Mm-hmm. They are bright, clean, cheerful, and
junk in new colors.
Very, very, very much so. So, Mrs. McFall, I tell you what, welcome to the show, and Mr. Jenkins, welcome to the show.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
So, tell us the inspiration. Tell us what made you start this project.
Well, I'll start if that's okay. Good morning, Bahamas.
Morning.
Basically, I started writing this book because over the years, my mother's from New Providence, my father's from Acklands, and over the years, they would always make sure that we would go home to the Bahamas to visit with family every summer. So basically, a lot of the pictures that are in this book are places that I've had the opportunity to visit. Some of the places in the book I have not had the opportunity to visit, but would like to in the future. So the inspiration for the book basically comes from all of the summers and trips that I've had to the Bahamas, because my parents wanted us to maintain our family ties to our relatives in the Bahamas.
Well, it's a very catchy way to share some of our customs and beauty and history. So how'd you come up with the angle?
I came up with the angle because I have 3 children. I'm one of 3 children. My father was the 13th of 13 children.
What?
Yeah.
They didn't have a TVA.
No. Remember, he was born in 1920.
Greg, they didn't have that zenith.
Neither RCA.
Okay.
So, I did the same for my children as my parents had done for me. When my children were able to travel, I took them on a trip to the Bahamas. It was around Christmas time, so they were able to have a chance to catch Junkanoo. But, trying to find a way to start the story, I looked at my 2 boys who are very close. They still share a room, and they're 20 and 21 years old now. Mm-hmm. And, big brothers and little brothers have a special relationship. So I figured, maybe, the little brother's got something to do and a report about the Bahamas, and he's like stuck and maybe could ask his big brother for some advice. And that's what he did. So that's kind of how the story starts. Little brother asking big brother for help. And then they decide that they're going to take a trip and visit their cousin Vanessa, who's actually their oldest sister in real life. They're going to go visit their cousin Vanessa, who lives in the Bahamas.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I kind of came up with the idea and the angle for the story.
So Mr. Jenkins, have you been here?
Yes, I'm right here.
Have you been to the Bahamas?
Have I been to the Bahamas? I have been, but it was very brief. It was on my honeymoon, and we were on a cruise, and we stopped and did some snorkeling and thought it was amazing and beautiful. But I haven't been there for long, and I would love to go back, having heard all the stories and now done the research and the artwork. I'm really inspired to make it to the Bahamas.
Well, why I asked was because the pictures are so vibrant and so truly reflective. It must have you and Mrs. McFall must have collaborated. For hours and hours.
Yes. Interestingly, she lives in New Jersey and I live in Maine, but we are former colleagues, and that's how we got connected. I think the reason that I wanted to jump on this project was because of her passion for the story and for telling the story of the Bahamas. And she just did a wonderful job of explaining to me and showing me what the Bahamas looks like, how bright it is, how vibrant it is, the wonderful colors and the flowers and just the wildlife. And I felt that I had a really good grasp of what it should look like just from all the images that she shared with me and how she continued to collaborate with me and explain exactly what it did need to look like. I think early on I struggled with that a little bit, but I got a lot better as we moved through the book.
Yeah. Well, you ain't seen all the wildlife, I can tell you.
I'm sure I haven't.
So, how long did it take you guys to, well, how long did it take you, Mrs. McFall, to write? And how long did it take you, Mr. Jenkins, to
illustrate?
Finish it? Yeah.
Well, for me, I started writing the story in 2006. My father unfortunately passed away in 2006. And I started writing the story then. And, we've had, as families go, we move, change jobs, etc. So I started the project in 2006, and 14 years later, here we are.
Wow.
But RJ and I have been working together very closely over the past 3 years, communicating back and forth over email, text message, virtual meetings, to get, the colors, the content, etc., the way that we felt it should look.
Mm-hmm. And how long did it take for the illustrations to be done?
It's been about 3 years. I am a visual arts teacher up here, and so I work a full-time job. And so one of the challenges has been just finding the time in free time to get it done. But a lot of work in the summers and during vacations. And again, we've just collaborated through the phone and virtually. Actually, this past summer we did a book signing up here. It was the first time we'd met in person in like maybe 6 years. So.
Wow. So when will the book be available in stores?
It's available currently on Knowledge is Capital website, knowledgeiscapital.com, for purchase. It will be available in the Bahamas, probably at dollars and cents in Palmdale shortly. Working on some arrangements there to get the book into the store there.
So, well, it'd be great if you can get in touch with the Ministry of Education.
Mm-hmm.
That would be wonderful. I think that there are a lot of great vocabulary words in here. There's a lot about the geography of the Bahamas, the topography of the Bahamas, about the wildlife, about conservation efforts, about the history of different institutions that we all know and love. We talk about our beloved Bahamian macaroni and cheese.
Oh, wow.
A lot of things. It's basically an opportunity for the world to have a better understanding of the country. Go ahead.
Looking at the preview that we have gotten, I see where you're touching on various islands. Do you have a brief history of all the islands?
We touch upon some of the highlights of the islands. For example, Acklands, in particular, where my father was born. We talk about...
That's where I'm from, too.
Oh, great. Okay. We might be related. You never know.
We might be.
What part of Acklands where's he from?
My father was born in Pompey Bay, Acklands.
Oh,
he's part of the Hannah Hasty Tynes tribe.
Oh, he's a Hannah. Related to Brad.
To Brad, that's right.
Yep.
Brad Hannah. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. But
That's okay.
Bahamians like to know where your people are from.
Oh, I know. That's the first question you better know.
Where your people is?
I got family down there, too, in Pompey Bay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the Williams.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, like, for example, we talk about Acklands, and we mentioned that in Acklands, that's where Grandpa's from, and it's got great bonefish and cascarilla trees. I know Acklands is also known as the Fragrant Island because I talked to my cousin Barbara Hepburn, who mentioned that to me as well. So we try to highlight, different aspects of islands. We even talk about Maiguana. There's a beautiful scene in here about Maiguana. We talk about Nassau, New Providence. We talk about, San Salvador. We touch upon islands that have significant, history. All islands have significant history. But we wanted to just make the world aware of some of the different landmarks and natural resources that are particular to the islands. So the first letter of the alphabet is A, so we talk about Andros, we talk about the Abacos, we talk about Acklins, and then we just continue through the book.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I noticed that the pirates that you feature are all female.
Well, you see, there are female pirates, but there are also male pirates, and I think the side that you're probably looking at the preview where we had Anne Bonny and Mary Read, but we also talk about Charles Vane Blackbeard and Henry Morgan, who were also pirates, and we also talk about Governor Wood Rogers, who helped to put an end to piracy.
Right. Dwayne, you started to say something? Ask something?
Yeah, I was wondering if the book is going to be available also as an audiobook.
I don't. Me and RJ have to talk about that. We're not sure if it's going to be available as an audiobook because the characters, the two boys are from New Jersey, and Vanessa is from the Bahamas. So I want to be authentic and make sure that when Vanessa is narrated, that she's narrated by a Bahamian person.
There you go. And then RJ will just have to figure out how he makes those characters, how he brings them to life with animation.
Yeah, that's a whole other animal.
Yeah. There you go.
We hope to one day. We really
do.
There you go. A pretty good reception from young people who really, really like the book. I have a huge fan in Jacksonville, Florida, who's like, please, could you animate the story?
There you go. I'm telling you. And who knows, you guys could wind up on Disney.
That would be great. From
I think we can handle that.
I think I can handle that for you.
Oh, you could?
If you could, I would be very, very grateful.
Don't start, Ms. McFall. Don't start, nothing you can't. Finish with Dwayne now. Okay?
Well, if Dwayne were, if we're related, man, you could do anything.
Oh, that's the Auckland's coming out right now.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, that's amazing. Awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I learned something, and Tony learned something this morning.
Yes.
About Toto. I mean, I knew it was the tongue of the ocean, but I didn't know there was an acronym for it.
Yes, there's an acronym for it, and it took me a little while to find out information about that. I had to go to a couple libraries to get information about that, but one library in particular had it, and it was a library that focused on geology and geography. So I was able to get a lot of information just by going to that library, and I made a special trip to this library, which is part of the Columbia Library System in New York City, part of Columbia University. And I was able to find out a lot of information about Tongue of the Ocean, among other sources as well. So, there's like one primary source, the history of the Bahamas, that was written many years ago, that was really instrumental in helping to provide some information about the Bahamas, its history from, the Lucayans to about 1980.
Do you remember who that was by? Was that by Dr. Saunders?
No, it was
Michael
another author.
Creighton?
It was, I consulted with Dr. Saunders many times. I was very fortunate to be able to go to her office at the University of the Bahamas and consult with her and get some facts checked that I was not certain about, among other people, as well as, Dr. James Moultrie, Dr. Davison Hepburn, who were also instrumental in helping me get information.
And Dr. Saunders actually makes an appearance in the book, which is pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, we highlight her because, she is the keeper of the history of the country. She has a great passion for the Bahamas, and she's a well-known international scholar on the Bahamas.
That she is. Mm-hmm. And I gotta give a plug. She's also my cousin, so
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. We need to wrap up, by the way, but it's interesting. I have several academics in the family. Everybody always asks me what happened to me. I can't explain it. Got to stop somewhere. But Mrs. McFall and Mr. Jennings, thank you so very, very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Looking forward to the book.
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
You'll be there soon.
Thank you.
We will check with your cousin to find out when the book is on the shelves here, and we'll give it a plug.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our
Have a
pleasure.
great day, guys.
Okay.
You all too. Thank you
too.
so much.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.